Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. For how long? No one really knows, and I'm here to go through who I think have been the best starting 11 in the current Premier League season. Obviously, like most people, I hate Arsenal. Unfortunately, they are top of the league, so one or two of their players might have to go in. Let's just get straight into it with the goalkeeper. For me, it's between Donnarumma and Alisson, and then there's a drop-off in quality to the rest of the players. Alisson isn't the same goalkeeper anymore, even though he's still quite good. Roof's had a great first half, although it's not really his fault, but Sunderland have fallen off a bit. Anyway, in his 27 games, Donnarumma has kept 11 clean sheets, whilst Raya has kept 15 and 31. So Raya wins in that regard. There's no denying that Raya is a better ball-playing goalkeeper than Donnarumma. However, the big, massive Italian has been better than expected at long balls and even keeping the ball under a bit of pressure. He's come out of the box at the right time as well. Donnarumma does actually have the highest save percentage in the league with 72.7% compared to Raya's 69.4%. Donnarumma has made more saves, has a far better XG prevented, and a worse defence in front of him, so that's why he will be my pick for goalkeeper. On top of that, I feel like he's had more memorable saves in crucial moments. Not that Raya hasn't had any, but I can remember more of Donnarumma's, like the one that came from a deflected McAllister shot late on in the game at Anfield. We'll go with the right back now. In this position, it's between three, and depending on my mood, on any given day, I could pick any one of them. It's between Timber, Nunes, and Reece James. Immediately, I want to pick Reece James as he's on the weakest side out of those three, and I believe he is the best player out of them. But specifically this season, it's tough. I do think Timber had a tough spell around the time Arsenal drew to Wolves away, and I do think that Nunes has been extremely consistent when he has played, which I think is a big surprise to everyone. He's probably one of the most surprising players in the league this season, not including any sort of young breakout players, which, might be mentioned later on in this video. I am just about going to edge it to Timber. He's not impressed me going forward anywhere near as much as the likes of Nunes has, but I just think that Arsenal's defence is so good, and one of the reasons for that is they have a great defensive fullback like Jurriën Timber. Don't get me wrong, he's good on the ball, but once he gets into that final third, that's what I mean. He's not great going forward. The two centre-backs are obvious for me. It has to be Gabriel and Saliba. Arsenal are top of the league because of their defence. Guéhi is in for a shout, given he's improved City's defence, but he was still at Palace when they started to go on a bit of a bad run. I would have Van Dijk as the fourth choice because I think he's actually still been very good. It's just that people expect him to be head and shoulders above everyone, which is why he still gets clowned. For me, at left back, the only option is Nico O'Reilly. This is the young player I was referencing earlier. Him scoring a brace in the Carabao Cup doesn't play a part in this at all, but there is a pretty strong chance he'll win Young Player of the Season this year and probably City's Player of the Season. I know he's naturally a midfielder and has played there a fair bit this season. You could even argue that his best form came from playing in the midfield, but I still think that what he's done at left back throughout the season guarantees him this spot. Now we get to the midfield, and I don't care that mine isn't going to be really balanced. I've gone for 2 8s and a 10, kind of. So yeah, no DM for me. I want to give an honourable mention to Rodri though. People love to hate, but he has been very good for City after a slightly shaky start. Another player who was close but couldn't quite make it was James Garner. I think he's having a brilliant season at Everton. Elliot Anderson's been decent, but Forest just haven't been good enough this season. They're in a relegation battle, although they probably will stay up. Granit Xhaka was extremely close to going in. As you can see, Sunderland's clear drop-off when he isn't playing, but he just about misses for me. Almost forgot to mention Kamara before the injury, similarly to Xhaka, an obvious drop-off for Villa. Caicedo had a strong start. Anyway, my midfield three is Declan Rice, arguably Arsenal's best player of this season, with his 4 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League. Probably the real captain of that team. The other sort of 8 I've gone for is Dominic Szoboszlai. He scored 2 of the best free kicks this season against the best 2 teams, performed in different positions, and has brought an energy to a Liverpool team that needs it in a season where they are underperforming. He has been a massive standout for them. And finally, Bruno Fernandes, player of the season for me. I know they're only playing in one competition, but that one competition is what this is based on. He has a chance at the assist record with 16 already. He needs 4 more to equalise it, 5 more to beat it. But it seems like that assist record is cursed, so maybe not. I don't think he was great in the first few games. I think he even missed a penalty against Burnley, if I'm not mistaken. Apart from that, under Amorim, he basically played as a 6 and was still performing at a very high level, apart from those first few games. You could argue that although the system didn't really work, Bruno playing in that position allowed him to develop into a more disciplined player, as since Carrick has come in, wow, he has been unplayable. pretty much an 8 to 10 out of 10 every single game he's played in, and he's in his best position now. Now we get on to the attack, and this is really difficult. Normally there's so many good forwards that it's hard to squeeze them in, whereas this season, it feels like barely anyone really deserves it, and maybe we're going off of no one's having as good of a season as Salah had last year. There's no left winger with the quality of Heung-min Son. There's no Mane. You know what I mean? There's definitely a drop off in the quality of attackers in the Premier League in the last few years. Anyway, enough of the waffle. On the left, I've gone with Semenyo, 15 goals and 4 assists. He is the one player in the attack that I think has actually been amazing, and there haven't been any other consistent left wingers, so that's why I've put him on the left instead of the right. He's so powerful, two-footed, and a solid 1v1 dribbler. After about 10 weeks, he slowed down a bit, but since the turn of the year, he's been electric. He's been great for City. Up top, I've just edged it to Haaland. It's harsh to say he hasn't been amazing, but it's just the standard he's held up to. 22 goals, the top scorer, 7 assists, the third most assists, most goal contributions in the Premier League this season. It's just that he's been on a pretty average run since the start of the year, but we cannot forget his first half of the season, where a lot of people would say he was the favourite for the Ballon d'Or, or at least in the top 2 or 3. Sorry, Igor Thiago, by the way, if you're watching this. Definitely is. I'm not shoehorning you in at right wing, but if he ends up with more goals than Haaland, I don't know. And at right wing, this one is one of the toughest ones that I don't think there's really been a standout, but I've gone for Harry Wilson. He's had an impressive season with Fulham, scoring 10 goals and assisting 6. For me, he gets in here above Mbeumo, because although Mbeumo has some big game performances, I just think he's been too inconsistent over the course of the whole season. Well, that's my team of the season so far. Politely, let me know if you think I missed anyone down below in the comments section. I'll just go through the team one more time. Donnarumma in goal, a back 4 of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and O'Reilly, a midfield 3 of Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes and Dominic Szoboszlai, whilst the attack is Semenyo, Haaland and Harry Wilson. Anyway, I thought I probably should mention this. I'm not really biased towards any team, as I do go for Bayern Munich. I just watch a lot of Premier League games. Most of them, in fact. At least I get to the highlights of all of them. So yeah, I don't say obvious Arsenal. Well, obviously I'm not an Arsenal fan. Don't say I'm a Fulham fan or something like that for putting Harry Wilson in. I support Bayern. In fact, to my left, there's a wooden Bayern badge. To my right, there's a Bayern Munich banner. I'm wearing a Bayern Munich top. It's not a kit, but yeah. Behind me, I've got a poster of Bayern Munich. So yeah, I think you get the gist. No face cam, but you'll have to just take my word for it. But yeah, I might be doing a Ballon d'Or voting video, so let me know if you'd like to see that. And if you do want to see that, you should probably subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.